How to get my ex back? How can I be sure that we will be able to rebuild a relationship, to save our marriage, to save our couple? Hello, guys, and welcome to Love Advice TV. I'm Coach Alex. I'm with Coach Adrian. How are you doing, Coach Adrian?
Very excited to do this with you. As always, welcome to those of you following us on our podcast and to all of you on Love Advice TV.
Yeah, remember that we have this amazing podcast, this YouTube channel, so we want to make sure that you will smash the like button and you will subscribe. We wanted to do a longer video about the process of getting back with an ex because we know that there is a lot of emotions actually. You don't know how to react, you don't know what are the best actions to do, what are the tools, let's say some secrets, and in the meantime, what are the mistakes to avoid? And I want to start with that, Coach Adrian, just to make sure that we clarify that it is possible to get your ex back, but there is mistakes that we see almost every single day that are destroying some chances to get someone back.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important to talk about those mistakes. But before even talking about the mistakes, it may be important to talk about the value of trying to get back with an ex. Because I know that to all of you who are following us, who have been watching our content, of course, it goes without saying. But to others, perhaps to your friends or to your family or to people that may stumble on our content, it might not be so clear why would someone want to get their ex back. And so I thought that before we even dive into the mistakes, it's important to frame this conversation to reaffirm the fact that you are fighting the good fight, that you are not wasting your time, and that this is not some gimmicky process that you're involved in just because you still have feelings for someone that doesn't want to be with you. And the reality of it is that relationships are hard. If you don't have the practical experience, and if no one has ever really taken the time to educate you on how to be in a healthy relationship, the odds are that you're going to encounter some problems and you're going to make some mistakes. Even if you love someone, even if you have the right intentions, you're going to inevitably push them away in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps you're going to start to become complacent. Perhaps you're going to lose part of what makes you who you are, and you're going to depend too much on your significant other, on the relationship itself. And it creates an imbalance. And in a lot of cases, someone loses faith in your ability to make them happy. And they believe that they need to end the relationship in order to find that happiness. Mm-hmm. And so we, over the last 15 years, have seen so many healthy relationships, good people with good intentions, give up on a relationship simply because they did not have the perspective, the tools, the experience to find ways to improve their circumstances. And unfortunately, we learn through adversity, we learn through making mistakes. And that's why so many people find themselves in this process of realizing that they were with the right person, but perhaps it was not the right time, or perhaps they needed to learn some things about themselves, about relationships, about love, in order to create the type of relationship that they know that they can create, in order to be in the type of relationship that you know that you can build. And so there is a lot of value in fighting for love. There's a lot of value in not taking the easy way out, not just, ending a relationship or breaking up, but actually facing yourself and growing through adversity and rebuilding a relationship with this person that you love, a new and improved relationship with the person that you love. And so I wanted to kind of give, as an introduction, this groundwork so that we're all on the same page and that this is not a lost cause by any means, and that it is very important for you to have absolutely no regrets, to feel like you have done everything that you could to maximize your chances at a new relationship in order for you to learn the lessons that you need to learn along the way, and also to make sure that, you, like we said, have no regrets along the way. Now, having said all of that, it is true that we see common mistakes that people make in the process of trying to get an ex back. And the one that I would like to talk about first is letting your emotions get the best of you after the breakup. Being overly emotional, being impatient, being self-critical, and trying to get back with this person before they are ready to listen, before they are ready to meet you halfway. I would say that that is probably one of the most common mistakes that we see. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that, Coach Alex?
Yes, I will agree, because the one that I had in mind is part of this one, It's basically when you try to beg your ex. Because if you tell your ex, I love you, I want to come back with you, it's related to the emotions. So thank you so much, Coach Adrian, because it gives a clear vision of every action that you will do based on emotions will not help. And if you beg your ex, even if you have so much love for your ex, it's usually not working because your ex is over the past. And so we will have to try new behaviors that we will talk in this podcast, in this video.
You will not succeed in guilt tripping your ex into taking you back. The clearest way to explain this to people, from my experience, is to acknowledge the fact that your ex is in a selfish mindset where they are concerned about their well-being and happiness, and you're not dealing with the same individual that cared about you and your well-being during the relationship. It is a different individual. And so talking to them about your needs, your desire to be together, is not going to inspire them. On the contrary, you're only going to push them away because they're going to feel like you're being desperate and manipulative. And so they're not going to just get back together with you because they feel bad or to make you happy. Ultimately, they're going to want a new relationship with you because they believe that it is in their best interest and because they believe that they can be happy with you moving forward. So when you're unable to control your emotions, when you continuously apologize, talk about the past, beg for another chance, your ex is only going to be resentful. They're going to feel like you're coming in the way of what they need to be happy, and you're no longer pulling in the same direction. You are, in some ways, an adversary. And when you position yourself in that way, it becomes very difficult to create a new and healthy relationship. You're not pulling in the same direction. And so sometimes it's difficult because you feel so much pain. You're so heartbroken. It feels like the death of something that you cared about so deeply. And so I've seen the strongest individuals really break down and make these mistakes. Now, even if you have made this mistake and you're listening to this podcast or to this video and you're thinking, oh gosh, that's me and I've ruined everything, we know from experience that it is still possible to get things back on track. And perhaps, Coach Alex, you can talk a little bit about that, about not letting your mistakes, your previous mistakes, overwhelm you moving forward.
Of course, because we are all human. Guys, we have been through breakup. Coach Edwin has an amazing story about himself and why he's doing this, why he became a coach. But when you look at your specific situation, you have to know that everyone has done mistakes. Now, when you ask us, okay, how can I get my ex back? For sure, we have to understand that getting back with an ex is not a bad process. Because as Coach Edwin just mentioned, your goal is to have zero regret. These are the regrets that are killing us. Oh, maybe I should have said this. Maybe I should have done that. All of these regrets, we are clear on this. We don't want them. So we want to make sure that we will enter into the process of breakup recovery. Then we know that there is mistakes based on emotions. And you need to understand that everyone does mistakes. So if you can control your emotions now, if you understand that you have done mistakes, but this doesn't define you. Because people are sometimes making the confusion between a mistake that they have done and being that person. So let's say that one day I maybe talk down to my ex. That doesn't make me a toxic person. I had a toxic behavior. I'm not a toxic person. These are two different things that are very important. And also, what I love to say, it's basically when you have done mistakes, if you can now do the right behavior, then your ex can really and very fast can see the way you have changed. You know, if you were in the wrong way and now you're doing the right actions, there is such a big difference, then yes, you will be able to make your ex wants to talk to you first, because I like to break down the idea of getting back with your ex into different steps. We need communication. We need to make your ex smile. We need to see your ex in person. And then after that, we can just reattract your ex. And then after that, we will get your ex back. So just to answer this idea of how can we just believe in the idea that we can get our ex back even if we have done mistakes, it's because these mistakes doesn't define you. And of course, if you can have the right behavior now, your ex will see a big gap, a big change. That will make your ex wants to know more about the way you have changed and wants to see you more and talk to you more.
So there are many, many, many mistakes that people make during the process of breakup recovery. And we've touched on a few here. Also, Coach Alex has talked about different stages of this process in terms of communication strategies and in terms of milestones. Different situations, goals that you've been able to accomplish that shows that you're perhaps in a different phase of the process of ex-back recovery. And although every breakup is unique, although you're dealing with a unique individual with their own characteristics, personality, fears, upbringing, childhood traumas, previous relationships.
That is very important. Very good.
Despite all of that, we have seen trends. We have access to a lot of data. We have seen what this process can look like in the field because we coach so many individuals across cultures, across different ages, in different environments. And we see that certain elements need to be in place in order to lay the foundation for a new and improved relationship. And so, moving past just the mistakes and playing defense and making sure that you're engaged in a process where you're focused on you, making the most of it, not seeking your ex's validation, not trying to go too fast. Beyond all of those things, it is very important for you to understand the big picture. And the big picture is that there is an element of personal transformation that needs to occur so that you minimize mistakes. And then there's a communication platform that needs to be nurtured so that the foundation is strong to be able to rebuild this dynamic. We could go really hours and hours talking about each of these elements. Many of you want to know more about the process of healthy communication with an ex. You associate communication with an ex with the process of getting back together. And I think Coach Alex has so much experience with that because he has been on the ground focusing on acquiring all this data and seeing these different situations, that I felt that it would be appropriate in this format, in this video, for him, to tell us a little bit more about these stages that he's outlined for us. Being able to communicate with an ex, being able to not be emotional, to make them smile, when eventually see them, and getting back into this process of attraction. So, Coach Alex, based on everything that you have seen over the years, where do you think that, what are the crucial elements and perhaps the important things to remember as we go through these different stages of the breakup recovery process?
Thank you so much for this question, because emotional communication is really the tool that I use the most. And as you know, guys, you have some special gift that we are offering to you in the description box right below. You can click on it and you will find a video on emotional communication. How can I make my ex listen to me? How can I make my ex feel good? How can I make my ex want to be with me, want to talk to me, want to spend time with me? These are tools that we are using all the time, coming from the neuroscience. And there is one little thing that I want to explain to you, and then we will see what could be the next tools that we can use. But I've realized over the years that every time you come to your ex, you're just talking about your feelings. I love you. I want to be with you. I can't live without you. These are very beautiful words and promise. The problem is that it doesn't have any value in your ex mind, because they are so mad at the past and they are just trying to move on. So what do we need to do? We need to bring some explanation about your mistakes. Because if we can explain why did you do this mistake, your ex would start to have some empathy for you. They will start to feel you. They will start to understand you. So for example, I've seen a lot of people being codependent, loving their partner too much. If you can tell them, I was just trying to do my best and I realized I'm codependent. I realized that I was basing my happiness on you and it's not healthy for you. These are explanations that can just make your ex feel much better. So I have seen, and this is why when I talk about the accountability letter in my philosophy, we need to give explanation, because that will bring some logical solutions to your ex. And when there is logic, the brain love it. So this will be my tip number 1. Tip number 2, regarding the communication, it's basically everyone is trying to skip some steps. When we want to get back with our ex, we want to go directly to the end, which is the big kiss, and we know that we are together. One thing that I have realized is that before your ex come back, they will test you. They will try to be angry and see if you control your emotions. They will always talk about the past to see how you respond to that. They will also tell you things that will hurt you. And you need to be ready to listen to that, but not take it. You listen and that's it. Because you know that you have changed and you know that you are strong. So the best way to communicate with your ex is to know that they will test you and they will analyze your behavior. The moment you are insensitive to their attacks, it changes everything. So I want to tell you that if your ex tests you, it's a good sign. It's because they want to confirm that you have changed forever. Because when I hear the question, how do I get my ex back? It's usually 2 questions. Do I have any chances? Do I have a chance to get my ex back? And the answer is a question from your ex. How can you prove me that you have changed forever? If you don't respond to my test, and if you are using the logical explanations, it can really change your ex behavior. That will be my response, Coach Adrian.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. It's quite interesting to see that when it comes to healthy communication with an ex, and when it comes to acknowledging some of the mistakes that you may have that may have happened in the past, most of my clients are actually really eager to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to show that they've changed. They want to show that they've understood. But the way by which they go about that process is usually compounds the issues and actually makes things worse.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've listened to our philosophy, there are nuances here. And I want to clarify this, and that's why I'm so grateful that we have this new format where we can do longer content, because we can clarify nuances. Okay? So we often say in our videos, don't talk about the past. Don't talk about the past. And now we're giving you this advice of make sure that you're able to logically explain the reasons behind your mistakes. Are those two things at odds? Are they contradictory? They are not. And I'm going to explain to you the nuances of why they are not. So, after a breakup, you are addicted to talking about the relationship. You're addicted to talking about what went wrong. You're addicted to reliving the traumas and the potential of what the relationship could have been. And so how does that manifest itself? Well, every time you talk to your ex, that's what you go to. And even with your friends and family members, anyone that will listen, very often, you talk about the pain that you're going through. And when you're doing that from a place, usually from a place of despair and desperation and vulnerability, it is quite repulsive to your ex. They don't want to hear all of that. In essence, you're making it about you. And even some friends and family members, after a while, they're not going to want to be around you and around that negativity. So that's why we tell you, don't talk about the past. Don't be in that space. Focus on your personal transformation. Focus on the things you can control so that you can create, a new healthy environment based on a more positive mindset where you can be credible, where you're communicating from a place of confidence and well-being. Once you have reached that phase of the personal transformation process, then you can communicate with your ex in an authentic, genuine way where you're credible, where they're actually ready to listen to you because you're no longer communicating from a place of anxiety and fear and desperation. And when you do this, oftentimes in the form of a letter, like Coach Alex has described, there are other subtle nuances here. The best way to describe it in simple terms is that you want to describe this transformation that has happened, the mistakes that led to the transformation, in a positive, uplifting way. So we're not going to make a list of all the mistakes that you made and remind your ex why they left you and why you're a terrible person. No. We are, in essence, thanking your ex for forcing you to take accountability, to understand the root causes of your behavior, and to actually take positive steps to creating new habits that bring you more freedom, independence, and happiness. So we're focusing not just on the mistakes and what went wrong, but also on the catalyst that led to this beautiful transformation. You're not telling them, I've changed and I'm a better version of myself and now come back to me. You're walking them through that process and letting them come to that conclusion on their own. And that is a very powerful nuance and something that you can leverage. And oftentimes in coaching sessions, when I help a client write their own letter based on their reality in their own words, I often suggest thanking their ex for breaking up with them, conveying to them that you want them to be happy, even if it's without you, to showcase detachment and to prove to them that actually that transformation that took place was for you, for not to seek their validation, but for your happiness. And in the process, you validate how they feel. You acknowledge the fact that you understand their pain and their frustration. And in doing so, you're no longer an adversary, you're an ally. You've expressed empathy. You have validated how they feel. They feel connected to you. And you can pull in the same direction moving forward to build something new. So this was a big detour, but I thought that it was a necessary one for you to understand the nuances of the ex-back process and how really you can leverage certain key concepts at key moments of your breakup recovery to change everything.
Yeah, I love what you just mentioned, Coach Adrian, because for me, it's part also of what we call the reverse psychology, which is not manipulation. But if you can go the same way, and if you can talk the same way that your ex will do it, they will basically listen to you afterwards. They will basically appreciate your initiative. But if you tell your ex, you should have not break up, you should have not done that, yeah, but you did this and you did that, it's kind of like starting a fight that will not help anyone. So what you mentioned is very important, because in all of our videos, we will give you some advice that sometimes are contradictory, but in reality, it's just depending on how do you adapt this advice. And that's why I always say the best is to get a private coaching. So if you come on withmyexagain.com/coaching, we can talk. We can give you the action plan. We can tell you what is going on, what does your ex want, but we can also help you for this personal transformation that is the foundation if you want to get your ex back. So there is a lot of techniques. We can talk hours about no contact, which I called also the radio silence. We can talk about the letter, the reattraction process. But you have now some steps, and you need to make yourself a promise that you will go 100% in all of these steps. When we talk about personal transformation, you need to do it with a big smile. And I can guarantee you that the moment you stop thinking about how can I get my ex back, but just how can I express my gratitude, and in the meantime, the way I have changed, how can I make sure that my ex see the new version of me? For me, it is the best way not to get your ex back, but to make your ex want you again and regret losing you. This is the best thing we can do in our philosophy, is to make your ex do some steps.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a concept that is quite important, that I talk about a lot in private sessions, that we don't talk about so much in our videos, but Alex touched on this. It's this notion of coherence. Mm-hmm. Coherence. And in a previous video, Alex talked a lot at great length about small mistakes that can lead to big setbacks, and how your ex is constantly testing you to make sure that you're safe, in essence, that they're not being tricked. That's one of your ex's worst fears, is to go back to the person that they broke up with, to face the same challenges, the same disappointments, the same unhappiness. Just like you have fears, they have fears too. And coherence is the best way to prevent yourself from having these small mistakes that lead to huge setbacks. And so it's very important for you to be the same person in the different spheres of your life, in the different conversations that you have. You cannot just turn it on when you're talking to your ex. And this is a battle that I have in coaching sessions all the time. People that are in deep despair, serious anxiety, trying to figure out how to reconnect with their ex and how to communicate with them. What's the next step? And we go into a back and forth as to why that is not a good idea, because they're not ready. But they're so anxious to skip steps, like Coach Alex was talking about, that they just want to go, and they tell me, no, but I'm telling you I feel this way, but my ex doesn't see it.
And sorry for that, but they think that they can, in a sense, manipulate their ex subconscious mind. Let me tell you this, guys, and Coach Adrian, I want to tell you that it is not possible. There is kind of this energy, these things that we can't see, that our subconscious mind is always analyzes: words, behavior, tone, your voice intonation. All of this is very, very important. So if you think that you're telling us something and your ex will not see it, it is wrong, guys. That's when you need to take just 1 week of personal transformation to be very, very strong. Sorry.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You cannot trick yourself or trick your ex into thinking that you are where you're not. And sometimes it leads to tense back and forth in coaching sessions. Ultimately, it's your life. That's what I tell clients all the time. You're free to do whatever you want. You're, reaching out to us to get unbiased feedback and a clear plan. If you choose to apply that plan or not, that is up to you. We can't force you, and that's not the point. The point that we are trying to make is that you need to be coherent. You need to be that new and improved version of you in every phase of your life in order to really maximize your chances of creating something new, and in order to really minimize the chances of having those big mistakes that lead to a setback. So, if you still miss your ex like crazy, if you still feel like you're not that confident person that you once were, if you doubt that you're the right person for your ex, if you are afraid of making mistakes, if you feel like you're walking on eggshells, it's probably not a good idea to try to rush to meet up with them or to jump on a call with them just because you miss them and you want to make sure that they still remember what connection you shared or what you're all about. And coherence is the best way to describe that process. And that's why many, many times you'll hear in our videos, think about your social life. Are you making progress in that regard? Are you making sure that you're connecting with old friends, having new friends? Are you going out? Are you able to smile? Think about how you dress, how you present yourself. Are you actually living in a healthy way? Think about how are you giving to others? How are you able to, live with purpose in some ways? How are you able to identify your quality traits and attributes and really make sure that those quality traits and attributes shine? Are you able to maintain a conversation with a perfect stranger for a minute? Are you able to reach those small daily goals every single day? Why are we telling you to do all of these things? It's because the more you do this, the more you bring coherence to the process of creating a new and improved relationship with your significant other. A new and improved relationship is the end result of a process that you have worked on diligently. And once you take those steps diligently, you are a living, breathing proof of your change. I don't care what has happened. I don't care whether your ex sees it or not. It is absolutely essential for you to go through that in order to then get to the fun part of actually reconnecting with them without being afraid that you're going to make a mistake, without reaching out to me every time that your ex reaches out to you to make sure that you're taking that next best step. You're confident. You know what you bring to the table. You know that your ex would be an idiot to not see it and to not take you back. You get your swagger back, and the process just becomes so much more fun and wholesome. So I wanted to really dig deep into this concept of coherence and how it relates to you not making mistakes that bring setbacks. And at the same time, shed some light on the fact that sometimes you think you're ready and you're not ready, and we have the perspective and the experience to see through it. And if you don't have that sense of self-awareness in the process of getting an ex back, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because you don't see it, but your ex sees it, we see it. And when you're not ready, you should not be taking steps that will lead to a setback.
So we know it's not easy, guys, to hear what we just said, but it is the reality of the process of getting back with someone you love and rebuilding a new and improved relationship. That's where we are going here. But we also know that you are very serious because you are watching this video that is quite long. So we want to offer you now and access to the techniques. So if you click in the description box below, you will have access to all of the private videos. They are not on this YouTube channel, they are not on the podcast, they are not on the website, they are only for the community. We just explain to you the mindset, the attitude, what we think would be the best for you. We have some techniques to give to you, and they are in the description box right below. But we want to make sure that you're ready for that. So as I always say, getting back with an ex is very serious. It's something that you need to consider. It's not a game. It's not to play. It's not to just, be narcissist and go get your ex back just for your ego. No. We are doing it because we want to open this famous new page that will help you be more confident, be happier. So if you are very serious about this process, click in the description. Just enter your email and you will have access to several videos that would completely change your love life and the process of getting the one you love back. But I do agree with you, Coach Adrian. It starts with you guys. It starts with your confidence. As he mentioned, if you really, really, really have changed and you're breathing the way you are, which is the new version of yourself, nobody can tell you something. And you will see that your ex will start very, very fast reconsidering their decision because they don't want to lose the new you.
I wanted to, before we end this, I wanted to share another insight from coaching sessions.
Sure.
When I coach individuals, I can, based on experience in the field, after a 30-minute session, I have a pretty good idea who's a success story and who is not. And what do I mean by that? Before some individuals even reach their goals, they already are success stories in their mindset, their ability to humble themselves, to become a better version of the person that unfortunately was not successful in their relationship. And they embrace this process as such, from a place of humility, with an eagerness to learn. And before they even reach their goals of getting back together, I see that they are already a success story. And 9 out of 10 times, those are the individuals that reach out to me via email afterwards saying, you know what, we're back together. Those other individuals are not failures. No one is a failure here in this process. But those other individuals don't yet have the self-awareness, the perspective, or the mindset that is necessary not to get their ex back, but to lay the foundation for a healthy relationship. Take a step back and realize that what we're talking about is much more complex and deeper than being in a relationship with someone that you love. It's actually about growing as an individual, as a partner, as a potential partner, so that you can continue to face obstacles and challenges when they come in your future love life with this person that you love. If you don't have that perspective, that sense of self-awareness or the right mindset, you're fooling yourself. And even if you write me an email telling me we got back together, the odds are that down the road, in 3 months or perhaps 6 months or perhaps a year, you're going to be emailing me again because you've gone through another breakup. And that's heartbreaking for me because the goal of coaching is to help you become independent, to help you navigate the challenges that you face on your own, for you to have the tools, the skills, the qualities, the attitudes that are necessary to constantly be able to nurture your love. And those individuals that are in the right mindset already showcase that. The qualities, the attitudes, the understanding, awareness, skills, they already have those. And that's what we invite you to do. That's why Coach Alex is offering you this unique opportunity to check out these bonus videos, this free training to deepen your sense of understanding and really to make sure that you continue to raise your emotional intelligence throughout this process of breakup recovery. So I'm delighted that we have these tools that are at your disposal. Please take every opportunity that you can to continue to engage with our material and to seek to apply it as well in your day-to-day.
Thank you, Coach Adrian. You're really helping us to understand the process and the emotions. So guys, as Adrian just mentioned, it's all about mindset. You are not a failure. If you have done some mistakes from now, it's normal, right? We are all human beings. No one can be perfect, especially when there is a lot of emotions. What is very important for us is that we have helped so many people. So we know it's possible. And we know it all relies on, can you do this personal transformation and just move forward step by step to your ex? It's simple in a sense. It's a process that is very simple. I really want you to smash the like button, subscribe to the Love Advice TV on YouTube and podcast, and make sure that you come and visit the website withmyexagain.com. You can do a private coaching. This is private, confidential. We work with you and we are just really there with you in any step that you need us. So just come on the website and we will do just more content. So make sure to stay tuned.
Always a pleasure. If there are specific topics that you would like us to explore in these longer format podcasts, videos, we are here for you. We are here to serve your needs. So please let us know in the comment section what you would like us to address in depth. Share a little bit about your victories also and your experience, what you have learned, so that others can learn through you. Because we are here to support each other and to continue to create an awesome community of like-minded individuals all over the world fighting for healthy relationships. So, Coach Alex, thank you for helping all of us fight the good fight.
Yep, keep fighting the good fight.
That's right. And we'll see you again very soon, both on our podcast and on our YouTube channel. Take good care.
Take care, guys.